Right, welcome folks to another video by Crafty Carol, and Gus is with me again, so he's going to huff in the background, but hey, that's fine. I showed you last time how I made these 5 cards, all using the beautiful Hippo stamp set and dies, which are free with Celebration all the way through August, and they're just gorgeous. They've got some lovely sentiments, these 3 just cutest hippos, so lovely, and the dies that match. And the dies have all sorts of other bits, which I haven't cut out to show you, but there's a little sort of life belt, there's splashes, there's waves, there's an umbrella, there's flowers, there's so much, goggles and snorkels and hearts and little boat and a little hat. Thank you, Gus, lie down please. And what I thought I'd do today is, having made these, are a little set, and that makes a nice present for somebody. So I'm going to show you how to make a box for them. So to make the box, what do you need? I've measured the card, but how to make the box, I'll go through how to make it because it's really useful to know. So you choose your biggest thing, which is actually your envelopes. Always measure your envelopes, not the card. And if you measure those, you'll find they're 16.3 by 11.2. So you want to add a few millimeters either side. So I went with 16.5 and 11.5. I added 3 millimeters all the way round. And that means that my envelopes are going to fit in my box. But I want them to fit fairly close. I don't want them to faff around and move around in the box. So it's up to you how much you add. I usually add about 3 millimeters. 5 millimeters would be particularly safe. So once you've done that, you want to work out how deep you want the box. And to do that, again, you can measure the depth of the box, of the thing you want to put in. So they'll obviously expand a bit, but 2 centimeters is going to be fine for those. So I've made my sides 2 centimeters deep. Now I always double my sides because it makes the box stronger. So if I double that, I need 2 centimeters both sides plus an extra 2 centimeters both sides, which means that that's 4 centimeters each side. And so I need to add 8 centimeters to my measurement. So my width measurement, I decided on 11.5, which means I need to cut this at 19.5. Do the same the other way. So 16.5 plus 8 centimeters, 4 lots of 2, makes 24.5. So that is how you work out the size you want the box. And the key is remembering to add on the depth, both sides and both ends. Once you've done that, you're going to score it. So I've already done the scoring at 2 and 4 on each side. So now I'm going to trim it down, and then I'll show you how to make it up. So this next bit of the video I'll speed up because you don't need to see me cutting, but you want to cut to leave some tabs. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, to how to make the tabs. I've made 3 of these, so we're just going to trim up the length. And how I do this, and different people have different methods. Oops, so she not cutting quite along the fold line. Try and be accurate with this, because otherwise it makes your corners not accurate when you fold them. So just fiddle with this one. There we go. So I make my tabs on the same bit on the box and then on the opposite bit on the lid. That'll make sense in a minute. But how to make them, you've got these 4 squares. When you've done your scoring, I don't know if you can see the dark colour isn't good this early espresso, but you've got basically 4 squares. You leave 1 and you're going to trim the edges of that so that it's slightly just tapered at the edges, because that means that you're going to be able to tuck it in and it's not going to stick out and make your box a little bit odd and make the corners stick out too much. So just like that. So that is how I have done the base. So I've got my 4 tabs and my 4 sides. So before we put that together, I'm going to talk about making the lid. Now the lid is basically, you've got the same measurement to fit, which is 11.5 by 16.5. And how I do this, and again, there's different methods to do it, but I am going to add just a 1 centimetre edge to it, so I've added 2 centimetres on each side, so I've added 4 centimetres, which makes my lid size 15.5 by 20.5 centimetres. And I'm going to do the same thing with these tabs, but I've got these ones sticking out sideways on the short side, so on the lid I'm going to make it sideways sticking out on the long side. That means when I make the box together, all my tabs aren't overlapping, which would add a little bit too much bulk. So on the long side I'm going to make my tabs here, so a little bit more fiddly because they're tinier, but it's the same principle. We're just going to leave a tab like that on each side, and again, you don't need to see me cutting them all. I'll speed the video up to show you. Okay, so now I've done my tabs on my base and my tabs on my lid. And what I forgot to just mention is when you are scoring the lid, just score it so it's slightly further out. So in other words, I've actually scored it, instead of the gap between those 2 score lines being my 16.5, it's actually 16.6. So I actually add about half a millimetre to where the score line goes. In other words, if I'm scoring this at 2 centimetres, I actually score it at 1.95. And I do the same on all sides. And this one I score at 0.95. So that just adds, so that leaves the edge of the box, you'll see it's 1 centimetre, but it just adds that little bit of extra space around the lid, which means it fits on the box nicely, because you always want your lid to be just fractionally bigger than your box. So I hope that explains how I've done those. So now I'm going to make them up by folding all of the bits and then sticking it together. And I've already prepared the decoration for the top that I've done. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'll show you how to put the box together. So for the decoration for the top, I've already actually half prepared this because you didn't want to waste the video showing it. So all I've done here is I've cut a piece of, again, early espresso card and a piece of sweet sorbet DSP, and the card is 10.6 by 15.8 and the DSP is 10 by 15.2, and all I've done is stick them together. I've wound a bit of a ribbon around the card, and I'll adjust it as I put my decorations on. So my decorations, I've stamped, coloured and die cut my little hippos. I've done 1 of each, and I've done 3 of the little sentiments, and I've just angled the edges rather than do anything too fancy with those, just to make them look nice. So I'm going to have my ballerina one, I think, somewhere in the middle. So where I've used the tape just to hold the ribbon down, that's where I'm putting the hippos, so that'll help hold it in place. And then I am also putting the decoration, again, that'll just hold a bit of that ribbon down. And same with the others. Let's have, oh, I don't know, let us have this one at the bottom perhaps. So we'll have him just walking off there. And my also hip, yeah, I think we'll have that one down here too. So that's going to help hold the ribbon in place. And then I'll do the same at the top. We're going to have the hippo over this side, holding the ribbon. Let's just get the ribbon coming around a bit. There we go. Just adjust the ribbon as you turn these on so you can get it where you want it. And finally, my final sentiment can go on there. So that's my top. Get rid of these bits. Honestly, little dimension covers take ages to get rid of. These stick things. I always find them in the bathroom. I don't know about anybody else. I just find it easier to make this and stick it on before we make the box up. It's a lot easier to stick it onto a flat piece than it is to stick it onto a made-up box. So let us just do that, and then we'll make up the box. So I'm going to put some Tombow on there. I want that to be roughly in the middle because I've made it so that it'll have a border all the way around on the lid. So I want to make sure that's even all the way around. So now all I'm going to do is fold and burnish all of my score lines. One of the reasons for adding at least a few millimetres to your measurements is because when you fold this in, it also fold these edges in, it strengthens them, but it does take a little bit of space out from the box. So to make up the box, dead simple, we're just going to put a little bit of glue on each of the tabs. And you can use tape or glue. I just prefer to use glue. It does mean I've got to sit and hold it for a minute, but that's fine by me. But I like the wiggle room it gives me so that I can make sure that my corners are absolutely dead straight. So I'm going to do one at a time, hold it in place to make sure my corners are dead straight. And then all I'm going to do is put some glue on each of these flaps and fold them in. And there we have the box. And as you'll see, that just fits the cards and the envelopes just beautifully. So let's make up the lid in exactly the same way. So there we have the lid made up. Now, normally, especially with these tiny tabs, I would probably have put some clips on them and left them to dry properly before finishing it. But I wanted to show you the finished box. So there's the lid, there's the base, and here is the moment of truth. And it should fit on just beautifully, which it does, hooray! So there is my box, there is my lid, and I hope let's just open to show the cards again. There you go. I hope you enjoy making something like this and have fun just playing and making nice presents for people. So thank you for joining me. Please do sign up for my website if you're interested in hearing more about me. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel, and I'll be back next week with some other lovely presents and cards, because that's what I like making. See you soon. Bye for now.